It's been a 100,000 sellout for months. Silverstone has its critics, but this is the big day. Welcome to the highlights of the Foster's British Grand Prix. Hello there. So the house full signs are out at racing headquarters for the first time in 5 years. At times this weekend, mid-July, has felt more like midwinter. But there's the warming sight of a young British charger on the second row after a couple of bizarre qualifying sessions. In pre-qualifying, some teams, including the Ferraris, are convinced that rain's around the corner. They want to run early in the decisive session before it arrives. Michael Schumacher says that is a deliberate spin. Others aren't totally convinced. In qualifying proper, the world champion goes early. It's a good lap, but not enough to improve the record of just one pole for Michael Schumacher in 13 Silverstone appearances. Rubens Barrichello, though, loves this circuit. Last year's pole sitter and winner. He misses out on pole after sliding in the final sector, but still out-qualifies his teammate for only the second time this season. The McLarens are an absolute revelation. David Coulthard, twice a British Grand Prix winner, is buffeted by the swirling wind. He loses time in the middle sector, but is still in shape to score. Kimi Raikkonen blazes through the last two sectors, the Finn right on the money and set for the team's first pole of the season. Only Jenson Button in the BAR, running last, can beat him. It's still dry, but cool and windy. There's a massive support from the home crowd. Button, wearing a patriotic helmet carrying the Cross of St George, is quick and smooth. The BAR, though, has been slightly off the pace. He makes a slight error in the complex, not pole then, but a starting position alongside Michael Schumacher. It's Raikkonen, the pole sitter, alongside Barrichello, then Button next to Schumacher. Trulli, he'll be 30 on Tuesday. He's Renault's main hope. Coulthard out to impress as he searches for that drive next season. He starts 6th. Montoya complaining the BMW Williams is difficult to drive. Sato, a Silverstone fan, is 8th. A fine effort from Webber in the Jaguar. Massa was somehow blocked by Panis on his in-lap. The stewards deleted the Frenchman's time. That puts him down the grid, along the likes of Alonso, Fisichella and both Minardis, who all lost 10 places after changing their engines. All eyes on Jenson Button then at the start. Enjoy the best of British with your commentators Martin Brundle and James Allen.
I love this moment before a Grand Prix. The expectation builds. Britain's biggest day of motorsport starts anytime now. Turn up the sound and enjoy. 20 Formula One cars. Go! Great start by Raikkonen. Look at Schumacher as well, trying to block Trulli. That was smart by Michael Schumacher. He cut Trulli out. Buttons takes up his 3rd place. But crucially for Michael Schumacher, Trulli didn't get him. And look at the Williams going wide there.
Yes, it's Grasskreek in there, got away with it. Must have been Montoya. Fabulous start then from Raikkonen with a comfortable lead. And this is the moment where the Michelins have more grip until the Bridgestones that the Ferraris on are up to speed. Can Button do anything about Barrichello? Heading down to Stowe, be one of his best chances. He's a bit too far behind.
Look at Sato diving down the inside of Montoya into Stowe corner. That's a battle for 7th place. And Sato, as we know, is a very racy customer. Has he made it stick? Yes, he has. There you can see Montoya's having a go back at him, though. Wow, they're side by side. Now Sato's got the lead again of the two of them. Raikkonen leads, Barrichello 2nd, Button is 3rd, Michael Schumacher 4th, Trulli 5th, 6th is Coulthard, 7th is Sato, and 8th is Juan Montoya. Great opening lap.
Yeah, some brilliant driving, and Montoya still ready to have a go at Sato. He got a great start, Montoya, ended up trying to go around the outside of Coulthard, lost out, and Sato got a clean run at him. Raikkonen, Barrichello, Button, Michael Schumacher, Trulli, Coulthard, Montoya 7th then. It's showing on the computer here, that must surely be wrong. And Webber, Massa 10th at the moment. Over the line then, Raikkonen with an enormous lead.
What a terrific opening lap by Kimi Raikkonen as he flashes across the start-finish line. That was the kind of thing he's used to seeing from Michael Schumacher. And now the two Ferraris, you can see Barrichello being dropped at the moment by Raikkonen, but we expect him to pick the pace up. Button is in front of Michael Schumacher, so as we predicted, Schumacher having some work to do here this afternoon. But one or two little paddock rumours that Schumacher's got 2 or 3 laps more fuel in his car than Rubens Barrichello. So we'll wait to see if that pans out the way as predicted. And it looks like Sato is holding off Montoya at the back there. Montoya unable to attack behind. And here's Alonso cutting his way through the field. He's in 14th place at the moment.
Started well down because of an engine change, and clearly he's not in a position on the track that matches the speed of his car, so we'll watch him coming through the pack. 14th at the moment, as you say, James. Raikkonen's lead was 3.5 seconds. at the end of lap 1. Let's see if the Ferraris can stabilise that now. And crucially, Jenson Button really also able to keep a distance between himself and fourth place man Michael Schumacher. The race then has settled down into a little bit of a pattern now, and Raikkonen all over the show in left field, desperately trying to hang on to the back of the car. He's pushing for all he's worth.
He certainly is. He's set very fast 2 sectors. He's really leaning on this McLaren. It's been a long time for Kimi Raikkonen since he's had a sniff of victory, but give a really good Grand Prix driver a sniff and he'll rise to the occasion.
4.3 seconds, and Michael went across the cut-off truly straight away, and it worked very well for him. And look how bad the Ferraris were on the left-hand side of the front, but they managed to muscle their way through there. Jenson Button very close to collecting Michael Schumacher for 3rd and 4th, and back down the field, some skillful driving, no contact. And look, is that, it looks like Sato went wide on the exit of Beckett, and Montoya has taken him through Chapel Curve, down then into Stowe. Montoya seizes the place back. That's 7th from Sato. Yeah, it was on the, as I suspected, it was then on the exit. He's so lucky there's now tarmac down there instead of gravel, otherwise it would have ripped his car to pieces.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the pace of Raikkonen and Barrichello. There's really nothing in it. Raikkonen's just set his fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Barrichello's taking a 10th or 2 out of him every lap, but nothing much. We ride on board, though, with Juan Montoya. We're in 7th place in the British Grand Prix, and we've got Jarno Trulli and David Coulthard ahead of us. We flick it into Copse Corner at 165 miles an hour, pulling over 3G laterally, pulling your head off your shoulders, and then down into one of the most spectacular sequences of corners in Formula One racing. This is Beckett's. This is what the drivers absolutely love. Coming down onto the Hangar Straight then, terminal velocity down here, 190 miles an hour under the bridge before hitting the brakes into Stowe Corner, 120 miles an hour. Montoya then keeping Coulthard and Trulli honest in the battle for 5th. They're about 13 seconds now behind race leader Kimi Raikkonen. That scrap there, so losing ground around about a second a lap.
Barrichello has got the gap down to 3.8 seconds, then just nibbling away at Raikkonen's lead. He's got the faster car at this stage of the Grand Prix. Alonso up to P12 now, and all over the back of Janay, who's having a crucial afternoon in the Williams, isn't he? He wants to keep that seat, and Williams must be thinking about trying Pitzonia, the other test driver in there, to replace the absent Ralf Schumacher.
And interestingly, news coming from Mario Tyson of BMW yesterday that Ralf Schumacher says he's ready to be back in the car for the Hungarian Grand Prix, obviously doctors permitting. Now, we just caught a glimpse there of Michael Schumacher and Jenson Button, the battle for the final podium place in 3rd. And Schumacher is now closing right up onto the back of Button. And this is going to be the point of interest, I think, for the next part of the Grand Prix in the lead up to the first pit stops. Somebody's dived into the pits already. It's Fernando Alonso in the Renault from 13th place. So we're getting into the zone now. And Schumacher, well, we're riding on board with him now. And is that Button in front? Looks like Schumacher's lost some ground there on Button. He was right behind him at the end of the last lap. If that is the case, that's very interesting. So there goes Alonso back out onto the track, the first man to pit this afternoon.
And how strange is that? He knew he'd got a 10th place drop on the grid with an engine change, so why didn't they just fuel him up and lose a couple more? That's really strange tactics there from Renault with Fernando Alonso. And you're right, Schumacher has made a slip somewhere and has dropped back from Jenson Button. Raikkonen leads by 3.5. Button, you can see in the foreground, 2.8 behind him. Michael Schumacher 4th. Which Ferrari is it we're expecting in the pit lane? Here comes Raikkonen past our commentator. It's Rubens Barrichello. Barrichello pits then. That's great news for Raikkonen and Button. They're carrying more fuel.
Absolutely, this is going to be an important stop for Barrichello. How much fuel does he put in? This will tell us a little bit about his plan for the afternoon. Quite a bit is the answer to that. We'll be working it out, but that's quite a lot of fuel going into Rubens Barrichello's car. As I said before, he had 3 laps less fuel going into this Grand Prix than Michael Schumacher, and that's quite a big deficit. Looks like the Williams team are pitting one of their cars as well. I think that's Martin A from 11th place coming in. Fairly quiet Grand Prix once again for the stand-in for Ralf Schumacher. 2
pieces of news from the F1 ITV pit crew. We think the Minardi smoking was just an overfill of oil, so let's hope that's the case, and that's very good news. Alonso pitted early because getting held up in traffic, almost inevitable really, but he must be out of position now in terms of the strategy. Only slightly they can repair that as the race unfolds. This is the race for 5th, 6th and 7th. Truly, Coulthard, Montoya, neither of whom have pitted, so nobody at the moment other than Barrichello in the top 10 have made a pit stop.
Yeah, Barrichello put about 55 kilos of fuel into the car in that stop. That'll take him around about 17 or 18 laps. Is this for Coulthard or Kimi Raikkonen? We're hearing from the pit crew. We believe it might be for Coulthard. Let's see. Kimi Raikkonen leading the Grand Prix by 6 seconds. Jenson Button of Great Britain in 2nd place. Michael Schumacher sets the fastest lap of the race so far, as David Coulthard does indeed come into the pits. Schumacher then back with Jenson Button. Whatever little slip he made out on the track, he lost ground to Button, but he's making it back again now. Fastest lap of the race to Michael Schumacher. Trulli is 4th, Montoya 5th, Sato 6th as Coulthard pits.
Stunning pace this afternoon, already over a second a lap faster than last year's fastest lap time. I know we had some slightly inclement conditions, but the track was good then too, so a really stellar pace. Will feed back in between the Jordans by the looks of it, and Michael Schumacher is absolutely flying. That's effectively down in about 14th place. This is an overtake then, Alonso going past one of the Toyotas of Panis, it would seem, down there.
We've got Kimi Raikkonen, the race leader, into the pits.
Yes, the McLarens tend to pit 1 lap apart. Ted.
That is a fantastic performance. You've got to say qualifying performance by Kimi Raikkonen. But let's see if he's staying on a 3 or switching on a 2. What's the time on that, guys? That's 7.5. So that's only about 16 laps worth of fuel. That's a 3-stop staying on strategy.
Yes, and a tweak on his front wing too. So quite clearly the balance not quite as he wants, despite his comfortable lead. Raikkonen then back out with more fuel, fresh tyres, and Coulthard now coming back through, passing the Jordan for position, that is, because of his pit stop. So Raikkonen, Coulthard and Co have taken quite early stops.
And here you can see Sato holding Raikkonen up, it would seem, at the moment. Raikkonen has a very, very good fast car under him today, and he needs to get on with it here, particularly as Schumacher is getting on with it.
Yeah, it's hurting him through those high-speed turns, and Raikkonen has to clear Sato. They're out there doing sort of 121s, late 120s. It's costing Raikkonen dearly, and now he's trying to have a go down the outside. There'll be no space there. When he gets to Copse, it's a replay of the previous lap, and Raikkonen desperately trying to clear Sato. Jenson Button then remains, it seems, ahead of Michael Schumacher.
Schumacher coming out on Woodcote Corner to complete yet another lap. He did go long, didn't he, on the fuel? That's why he was. That's why he wasn't quite so quick in qualifying. 4th place, half a second down on Kimi Raikkonen. A
1:18.9 he's just done. I meant to say Barrichello rather than Michael before with Jenson, but incredibly a 1:18.9 for Schumacher. That's 2 seconds faster than anybody else is going out there at the moment as they get back up to speed with their tyre change. And look, can Raikkonen make it stick up the inside now of Copse? Yes, he can, and that is crucial, but it must have cost him about 4 seconds so far. That's hurt him bad. His lead was about 3.5.
Trulli pits, good stop by Renault, 7.7, out he goes. He passed him into Copse Corner. That takes a bottle, doesn't it? 165-mile-an-hour corner.
Yeah, he just had to stay on in there, didn't he, and hope that Sato would get out of the way. Sato's not well known for shying away from coming together. He doesn't normally jump out of the way, but Raikkonen with the quicker and slightly lighter car, I think.
I'll tell you what's interesting though, Martin, in the opening phase of this race, Rubens Barrichello was ahead of Jenson Button. He made his first stop on lap 9. Button came in 2 later, and look, Jenson Button has actually jumped Rubens Barrichello as a result of that first round of pit stops. Great news for the Brit then. He's ahead of one of the 2 Ferraris. Michael Schumacher, though, has yet to make a stop. He's going faster still, fastest first and second sectors so far in this lap. A 1:18.739. The man is on fire. He's flying around this track now. Has he done enough to take the lead of this Grand Prix? Well, we'll find out shortly. It seems to me he had a big mountain to climb.
And the really bad news is that Button too now is coming up behind some traffic, albeit, as you say, having cleared Barrichello. Jenson Button is going to lose some time. Michael must have been about 6.5 seconds away from the lead. Has he done enough to just simply leapfrog straight into the lead in this one zone of the Grand Prix? His lap times are stunning.
They are indeed. Raikkonen did lose time. He's losing time again here now. 2 seconds lost on the last lap, trying to get past Takuma Sato through this traffic with the Minardi as well. Certainly Michael Schumacher has stayed out a few laps longer than Raikkonen, and has it been enough? There's a tremendous, look at it, it's like the car park at Sainsbury's down there on the Hangar Straight. Mark Webber in the mix as well. He's battling away with Jenson Button behind him for position. Webber yet to stop in the Jaguar in 4th place.
See, this is the problem. When the computer tells you a 3-stopper is faster, you can't really take into consideration exactly how the back markers are going to fall. So what you've got are the 3-stoppers trying to make their way through the 2-stoppers here, and that is why you're seeing 4 and 5 abreast there. Button desperately trying to get past his teammate. They're on different strategies, and Sato lets him go. That's great news for Jenson Button as Michael Schumacher pits from the lead. Where is he going to come out, James?
Well, he had 23.3 seconds before this stop. We will see 16 plus the stationary time is what you need. That's 25. Raikkonen should grab it, but look at the traffic jam he's in. Down the pit straight goes Schumacher. Raikkonen flashes past. There he is on the right of your screen. Schumacher can now hit the gas as he comes out of the pit lane. Is he ahead? Raikkonen's going to catch him. Is he? Not quite. And Michael Schumacher, is that Kimi Raikkonen? I think it is. Yes, it is indeed.
Yep.
And that's the lead to change then.
It's leapfrogged completely.
He has completely leapfrogged him as a result of those fast laps and the traffic for Kimi Raikkonen.
Amazing. Yeah, so that's what it was. And Michael on very, very hot laps while the others pitted and then got caught up in traffic. Somehow, miraculously, everything cleared out of Michael's way, and he's gone from 4th to 1st, and now he's got it. Now we'll see just how fast Raikkonen is, but it's Raikkonen who's got to get into the dirty air now. He'll be so amazed and frustrated to see the Ferrari. He would have thought initially, he would have been sure initially that that was Barrichello he saw in the distance, and he'll be amazed to find out that that is Michael Schumacher.
Schumacher leads the Grand Prix then from Kimi Raikkonen after a spell of mesmerising driving. This is lap 16 of 60 here at Silverstone. Look how close Raikkonen is now to Michael Schumacher. The crowd certainly enjoying this one here at Silverstone. Caps going up as we go past. Right, there we are, across the start-finish line. And Raikkonen is now just 0.6 of a second behind the race leader.
Ferrari sitting pretty here, because if Michael ends up backing Raikkonen and Button into Barrichello, I just wonder if the team are pretty content to see Button and Barrichello homing in on them at a second a lap. Jenson Button pits from 4th place. Unfortunately then, he's the first man to blink of the top 4. Button then with a pretty early stop there, James. And at the end of lap 27, and away he goes.
Yeah, BAR still feeling their way a little bit in race strategy, I think, by their own admission. And he goes out there. Is that Coulthard flashing past? Yep. It would be, yes. Yep. David Coulthard, who was in 5th place. As Alonso there is battling with Klein, 13th and 14th places, those two. Alonso had been duking it out with Webber just a few minutes ago as a result of having made that second stop this afternoon. Now duking it out with Klein. Kimi Raikkonen pits from 2nd place. So too does Rubens Barrichello. Who's going to get out first? They were getting very, very close together. Looks like Raikkonen's away first, and they put almost identical amount of fuel into the car. But you can see what Martin was talking about before, about how Ferrari were trying to back the cars, to back Raikkonen into Barrichello. And after this second stop, they'll have to stop again here this afternoon. And I think that what Ferrari have in mind is that Raikkonen...
Look, this is for position, James. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's for position. Barrichello ahead of Jenson Button. So that he remains in 3rd place. I wondered if Jenson he's made his second stop, hoped he could do something about Barrichello. It didn't work out. Got Montoya pitting from what is now 4th place. He passed Coulthard and Trulli in the last round of pit stops, and Ted is down there.
Well, the stop is going well so far. Now David Coulthard needs to pit. It's a decent stop for Montoya. Coulthard's Coulthard's got to make quite a lot of time. I'm not sure he can do it because McLaren are ready with his tyres, probably in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, Coulthard was about 6 seconds adrift, and you're watching there Raikkonen, and look at that. That's David Coulthard then, who's not yet pitted, and Barrichello behind him on fresh tyres. So that is, I wonder if Coulthard will come into play for Kimi Raikkonen, his teammate. We're definitely seeing a little bit of team riding this afternoon.
No love lost between the McLaren and Ferrari teams, certainly not between the people that run them. Ron Dennis and Jean Todt virtually spitting at each other every time they sit in the same room. There is Ron Dennis up on the pit wall. Is he using Coulthard here to just back Barrichello a little bit, because Barrichello certainly is putting Raikkonen's second place at risk here at Silverstone. So as you said, Martin, real team tactics at work, and well, all the drivers going absolutely flat out in the quest for glory. Raikkonen will be frustrated that he got stuck in the traffic after his first stop, otherwise he would have rejoined ahead of Michael Schumacher, and we'd be looking at a very different kind of Grand Prix as we ride on board with Jenson Button, currently in 6th place, but he has stopped twice. Some of the cars in front of him have not.
Coulthard pits then, so he won't be, in fact he did his fastest lap on the way in, his fastest sectors. There's Coulthard getting a clean visor. He has been in a lot of traffic this afternoon, and the summer flies and all the other rubbish you get on your windscreen on the road just goes straight out. Our windscreen is the visor of the helmet, and away then goes Coulthard. I would imagine he should just about keep position. We'll look out for Jarno Trulli when he makes his second stop. We've got a sick Minardi just gone past the commentary box window, and looking like it's going to drop out of the Grand Prix. The other Minardi in the pits for a schedule.
Oh, got an accident there. He's gone with the fuel hose attached, and he has stopped. And then the other Minardi, meanwhile, looks like it's smoking as it was earlier on. That looks pretty terminal to me. But let's hope that the refueling mechanic down at Minardi is okay, because it looked to me as though there was real chaos down there, and no clear signals given. The refueling man, it's difficult to tell whether he's all right or not, really, but the car has stopped.
Yes, he came in, he pulled away a little bit early. The hose wasn't out, as you saw, but the refueler is okay. He's got a sore arm. The car is now back out on track.
They're ready now for a second stop for Michael Schumacher. This is lap 37. He's got 25.5 seconds in his pocket, and this is where Raikkonen really needs to get the hammer down. It's probably going to be enough to get him to rejoin. Another tear-off comes. That's always a sign a driver is getting ready for business. This is a very, very important part of the Grand Prix now, a very important moment. Ferrari can't afford any slips in this pit stop. Ted, take us through it.
The Ferrari boys get to work. Michael hits his marks perfectly. Are they changing the front wheels? Yes, they are. They have to on a 2-stop. It's quite a long stop. Remember, he's got to make this to the end of the race. Still fueling. And what's the time on that? That's a long stop. 9.5, but that is to the end of the race. Where does he come out?
And remember, with a heavy car, Raikkonen was faster when Michael was loaded up. You can see Raikkonen, I believe, in the background there. Schumacher will continue to lead this Grand Prix.
Almost a carbon copy of what happened at the first pit stop, and Raikkonen, just as he comes around Copse Corner, sees Schumacher emerging in front of him. So Schumacher maintains the lead of the Grand Prix. Kimi Raikkonen pushing very, very hard in second place. Barrichello third, Button fourth, Fisichella fifth, and Montoya is still sixth.
Michael has just been solidly 3/4 of a second faster for 10 laps and made himself some space. And Raikkonen knows that his best chance is to give him a side swipe on the way past, frankly, because I don't think he's got the pace to do it. And now Michael's going to once again back Raikkonen into the pack if he's not careful. Barrichello just 2.5 seconds adrift in the second Ferrari. The crucial part of the Grand Prix then for Raikkonen to seize the chance to get past Michael Schumacher. Schumi just placing his car gently on the apexes, and worst case scenario then for Kimi Raikkonen. Let's see what the gap is this time. 3/10 between those two, but where's Barrichello? Now just 1.5 seconds behind Kimi Raikkonen, and on the same strategy. I'm sure that there's a bit of team play going on here. Can't blame them, it's fair enough. Exactly what I'd want to do if I had this opportunity in front of me.
Oh, it's a big crash for Jarno Trulli. He's hit that tyre wall really hard. Looks like he's okay, but that was a huge crash.
I think he's dropped it on the exit of Bridge Corner by the looks of it. And yeah, and safety car standing by. and there is why, because clearly a lot of debris. I think we're now coming into that zone. It's an unusual camera shot. Yes, we are, with a wheel in the middle, and they've got to slow down. And yes, Jarno Trulli, safety car deployed. Safety car is out.
So will Raikkonen take the opportunity to come into the pits, I wonder? You can see the amount of debris. That's going to take a while to clear up, and McLaren will be thinking fast. It's happened at the perfect time for Raikkonen. Does he dive into the pits? Yes, he does. He's going to get a free pit stop here, and so does Barrichello. There's going to be a race to get them both out again, but this is a really interesting moment of the Grand Prix. Ted.
This is great, and Williams are out as well. Everyone taking advantage of this safety car period. Raikkonen hits his marks. This is the final stop that he needs to get him through to the end, and perhaps, we hope, challenge Michael Schumacher. The fuel goes in. Jenson Button pitting as well. Let me tell you, Jenson was unhappy with his last set of tyres. That's why he was dropping off.
And Raikkonen out in front, crucially just of Barrichello. And all the advantage Michael Schumacher built up has now been wasted. But he has got track position. There will be back markers between them on the restart, I would imagine. But that has definitely neutralised the race, James.
Yeah, it's very interesting, though, because some of the cars who you would expect to stay out, the two stoppers like Fisichella, also made their pit stops. So we will see where everybody is when they come back out on the racetrack, what the order will be for the restart. But that could have worked out super well for Kimi Raikkonen and Rubens Barrichello. And that's a stroke of luck, possibly, for Raikkonen, just as he was coming under the most intense pressure from the Ferrari team. Lap 43 of the 60-lap British Grand Prix. We are behind a safety car due to an enormous accident for Jarno Trulli. He's okay and has jumped out of the car, but you can see the track workers clearing it away. And here's a look at what happened.
He dropped it on the exit of bridge. He was well through the corner, and then rolls over the rollover bar, digs into the gravel trap. He was walking away after this incident. We know he's okay. This is a replay. Jarno Trulli then with a sizable accident on the exit of the terrifying bridge corner. But the cars are so good now. They've been taking that full throttle quite comfortably. I asked Mark Webber yesterday when he was doing our lap guide, you know, is it easily full throttle? He said, yeah, even on used tyres we can get it just through full. So was it a technical problem there? Structural problem with Trulli's car? It's unusual to see a driver lose it quite so quickly. Normally they would be darting around a bit before they spun off.
A lot of the helicopters you can see there. It's always still one of the busiest airports in the world on race day, Silverstone. Helicopters coming in and out, ferrying individuals and corporate guests, and they are all, like the rest of us, on the edge of their seats as Schumacher gets ready to drop the hammer on the restart with only 16 laps to go here at Silverstone. And hold on to your hats, because this is going to be fun.
The Abbey chicane coming up then, and Kimi's got to be just trying to get as much temperature as he can. It does nearly nothing, unfortunately, that. You've got a little more than the weight of the car. There's no downforce at this speed, but he's got to be right there, and he's got to hope these back markers realise they should get straight out of the way. And Michael backing the pack up. I'd be gone if I was him.
Certainly would. Christian Klien is the man right in front of Raikkonen. He's letting him go at the moment. Raikkonen's obviously going to try and build up some momentum through the final sequence of corners. Schumacher being told on the radio what Raikkonen's up to. He's thinking it's like pursuit cycling this. When do I go? When do I go? When do I drop the hammer? How much are those two cars between us going to help me? Now Schumacher starts to pick up the pace, does he? The safety car peels in, and Raikkonen is monstering the back of Klien. Hopefully Klien will get out of his way, and Dematter as well. And we're restarted here at Silverstone, and Schumacher's flying. And look already at Raikkonen. He's going to try and get Klien into Kopp's corner. He doesn't get him into Kopp's corner, but Klien's got to get out of his way.
He has, but I just don't understand why they were leaving such big gaps. They should have been almost nerfing them through that left field corner, and it's given Michael a bit of a run. But Raikkonen's car, I'm sure, will be much faster at this stage of the Grand Prix, and that Toyota is obliged to get straight out of the way. It's a lapped car. Kimi deciding to use a little bit of his slipstream down the straight, though, and now it's a direct 1-2 for Michael Schumacher and Kimi Raikkonen. Button was having a good look at Barrichello too. There they are, they're third and fourth, and Montoya looking good in fifth too.
Schumacher leads then, Raikkonen second, Barrichello third, Button fourth, Montoya fifth. Fisichella still in sixth place. We ride on board with Jenson Button from Great Britain. He's looking at the back of the Ferrari of Rubens Barrichello, And I saw a gesture there from Kimi Raikkonen as he went past D'Amato down the main straight, which was fairly obscene, and I think indicated he felt, as you did, Martin, that the Toyota should have been much closer to the back of the Ferrari to help him out there. People diving out of the way. There gets Clean out of the way of Button. This is a terrific scrap here. And now Raikkonen is right with Michael Schumacher. He's got the advantage at the moment. The Michelin tyres, grip holding on better. Can he pass Michael Schumacher for the lead of the British Grand Prix? Just 14 to go as they cross the start-finish line.
There's been a clear pattern all weekend. The Ferrari is quick through the fast stuff at the beginning of the lap, and the McLaren much quicker through the middle and end sections. But this is where the overtaking's done, I'm afraid, down into Stowe mostly, and Raikkonen crucially cannot quite stay close enough to Michael Schumacher. Too much understeer in the turbulent air, and look at the gap he pulls out, and I think he'll haul him back in as the lap unfolds.
Now Barrichello tucks up behind the Toyota. D'Amato gets a little bit of a toe down the straight. D'Amato nips in behind him, and Button has got to get round the Toyota as well now. And he will dive out of the way. He is a lapped traffic. Cristiano D'Amato running in 13th place. And, well, he won't have enjoyed that experience.
And Montoya follows Button through as well. So Button, from threatening Barrichello, suddenly has to be all in his mirrors. There you go, Button and Montoya, who's done a very solid job through this Grand Prix. David Coulthard is down in 7th. I don't know if he's anywhere near Fisichella, 6th place man, but this is what it's all about at the front. And somewhat surprisingly for me, Kimi's not as close as I thought he'd be in this final part of the lap. Look how much quicker he is, though, through the apex of those slow corners.
He certainly is. He's terrific in the slow corners, this the new McLaren. On that last lap, Martin, he was a second and a half faster than Michael Schumacher. Just shows you how much pain he took trying to get past those two cars at the restart. Without that, he might well be in a position to attack.
Yeah, the moment was there, you're right, James, and you know, when you see a replay, you just wonder why they're not. And Barrichello was a full sort of 100 metres behind Raikkonen. He should be just hustling them all the way, but the trouble is, the part of the racetrack where the overtaking's done, and not those slow corners at the end where Raikkonen's faster.
Down the straight they go then, with 13 laps still remaining in this British Grand Prix. It's been, well, Grand Prix racing at its very finest, you have to say. Terrific amount of overtaking, some interesting strategy, a safety car bunching them all back up again, and, well, and a real attacking drive by Kimi Raikkonen. Is it all too late now? Michael Schumacher seems to have rediscovered his rhythm. His tyres are now in harmony with his car and this chilly Silverstone racetrack. And he is pushing very, very hard. That moment, that lap, Raikkonen's car, a second and a half faster than Schumacher's. What might have happened if he didn't have to pass those two cars the lap before, hey? Well, we'll never know, but can he attack in the remaining 13 laps? Great three-car scrap going on for the final points-paying position here this afternoon between Webber, Massa and Alonso. Those three absolutely nose-to-tail for the final single point for 8th place.
Michael Schumacher's lead exactly 1 second, then Barrichello is 2.5 seconds further behind Raikkonen. Button keeping him honest, to say the least, and an enormous fight going on down the field. That is Pantano in the Jordan, and he's bellied out on the gravel trap car. That's, again, he's turned in with his right rear wheel, not just touching the grass, but on the grass. Strange.
Yep, second spin of the afternoon for Giorgio Pantano. Was with his teammate, though, up to that point. Nick Heidfeld keeping him honest, as he has the last few Grand Prix. Just at the moment in this Grand Prix, though, the Ferrari of Schumacher pulling out about 0.4 of a second a lap. And that's a lot to do with the performance of the Bridgestone tyre, which has just been so super consistent here. We're right on board there with Alonso down in 10th place as Schumacher goes through. Just 2 more laps to go then in this 192-mile Grand Prix. It's been pretty arduous for the drivers, lots of G-forces on the body, but they've loved, I'm sure, every second of it, because this is one of the favourite tracks of all of these Grand Prix drivers. They love the fast stuff here.
Well, Barrichello stole 3rd place on the last lap of the French Grand Prix just 7 days ago. Is he going to try and do the same for 2nd place this weekend with Kimi Raikkonen? We know how good the Ferrari is in the first few corners and down Hanger Straight. If he gets anywhere near him, surely he's got a good chance. So we're really homing in. Raikkonen under pressure from Rubens Barrichello. This is the main race now towards the end. Fisichella can't seem to do anything about 5th place man Montoya. The rest of them relatively stationary. Alonso still fighting Massa for that 9th place.
Well, Ferrari really tried to put the squeeze on Raikkonen with a strategy. Schumacher backed him up into Barrichello to try and give him a chance to take second off him. And that was the moment at which Trulli had his accident, and that really was a get-out-of-jail-free card for Raikkonen at that point in the Grand Prix. But now he seems to be struggling a little bit on the tyres at the end of this race. And with only 1 lap to go, is Barrichello going to jump him? And some more news from Alan McNish.
Yes, Jarno Trulli thinks that maybe the left rear suspension failed coming through bridge, and that was the reason for going off. But the team, they're checking the data just to verify everything before confirming it.
Yeah, it certainly looked like that, didn't it? He had the accident after the corner, really. And normally if you're going to lose it with a balance problem, the car just sliding, you can fight it all the way to Priory. And that one just snapped on him and put him straight in the wall. Barrichello not close enough for a look there at second pace man Raikkonen.
This is the last lap then of the British Grand Prix. The top 4 runners are separated by 10 seconds here at Silverstone. Michael Schumacher has just a few more corners to go before he wins his 10th Grand Prix in 11 races. And that's only 1 short, Martin, of his own record that he set back in 2002 of 11 wins in a season. How many is he going to end up with at the end of this season?
And the one he dropped out of was because of a crazy incident in the tunnel of Monaco, wasn't it? So I don't think he was going to win that race that day, mind you. Jarno Trulli had the measure of him at the Monaco Grand Prix, but Michael was still strong for second or third there, so just about the perfect season for the reigning world champion.
Absolutely, it was another story of thinking on your feet and being quick when the moment counted for Michael Schumacher. He didn't have a great qualifying yesterday, but he's had a great race today. He takes his 80th career victory, his 3rd win at Silverstone, and what a tremendous drive by Michael Schumacher, but what a tremendous drive also by Kimi Raikkonen out of the final corner. There you can see the VAR. Raikkonen's already crossed the finish line in 2nd place, Barrichello 3rd, Button 4th, Montoya 5th, Fisichella in 6th place, 7th David Coulthard, and the final points-paying position for Mark Webber. But a tremendous drive, and what a performance by Kimi Raikkonen. He really took the fight to Ferrari here this afternoon, and not too many people would have put money on that a couple of weeks ago.
So the red Ferrari tide rolls on. Career win number 80 for Michael Schumacher. Rubens Barrichello, a virtual ever-present on that podium. Kimi Raikkonen tasting the champagne for the first time this year. We'll be back with Mark Blundell's analysis, plus the drivers' views on the British Grand Prix. You're back with us at Silverstone, where the magnificent Michael Schumacher has won the British Grand Prix for the 3rd time. 10th win of the season, Raikkonen 2nd, he was 3rd last year. Barrichello so consistent, he scored at every race. Button 4th, he expected more. Montoya 5th on a pretty average day for Williams. Fisichella 6th from the back of the grid, absolutely brilliant. A couple of points for Coulthard, 1 for Webber, but it's ton up for the champion.
Was that as easy or harder than everyone before?
Put it this way, it could have been easy if I had taken it easy and I had the option to take it easy. When, like in this, to my 2nd stop, I didn't need to push because I was clear with my strategy in front, but I somehow felt it's safer to be in front after the pit stop, and so I gave it a hard push, and I managed just to sneak out in front of Kimi and stay after the 1st and 2nd pit stop in front, which with the strategy I had, it was clear that that should be the victory in a way.
I think it's obviously a step in the right direction. I'm looking forward to Hockenheim. We've got another step there. Maybe we can take the race to Michael, and just to win some races before the end of the season would be great. But we'll enjoy the 2nd place, but it is the first of the losers, and we're here to win. So we'll work hard between now and Hockenheim.
I was a lot happier with the car yesterday and the Friday. Today it didn't seem to work out. I mean, I put the new tires after the 1st pit stop, and it was heavy. It wasn't, you know, the balance between front and rear was not good. The car was moving around, and I lost a lot of time. When the car improved, I had that 6-7 cars fighting for position, so I lost out to Michael completely on that phase of the track.
Yeah, no. First thing, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you, mate. I'm okay. I just had a rear suspension or something, failure on my rear left end, and then the car just went on the inside, big crash, roll over, but the car worked out pretty well in terms of safety.
Fine?
Yeah, fine. Just a bit crazier than before, probably, but I'm all right.
Okay, good to hear it.
We're just not quick enough. sat behind the Ferrari, you can see that, and it's everywhere. They just got more grip. In Beckett's, as you know, to start with, it can get a little bit twitchy on the entry, and I've got that, and then I've got a lot of understeer at the exit as well, exit of Beckett, so it's just very low grip.
Adrian was saying earlier that he thought that the tyres were a little bit of an issue towards the end of the stints. Did you have the same problem?
Yeah, what tends to happen is we don't, you know, now we've got this sort of like graining control, we don't wear the front tyre down, but it loses performance towards the end of the stint. And so you end up with a car that's got oversteer and understeer, so a bit of a four-wheel drift through the corner. I think the Bridgestone tyre is more consistent in these conditions, so we just need to work hard. We've got a test here for 2 days. We've got 2 cars running down in Jerez, and see what we can pick for Hockenheim.
So Michael Schumacher's into 3 figures. Teammate Barrichello 26 points behind. Button third. He'll have to go some now to split those Ferraris. Trulli unchanged, but okay. Montoya closing in on Alonso. 8 for Raikkonen, and Coulthard moving up level with Sato. Meantime, in the Constructors, Ferrari hauling another 16 points, nothing for Renault. Button scoring 5 for BAR. They're looking good for that 3rd place. Montoya picking up 4 for BMW Williams. McLaren improving by 10. Sauber 3, thanks to Fisichella. Webber's point is a quarter of Jaguar's total for the season. For Ferrari, though, 4 stops or 2, the outcome is still the same.
Well, it just to get ourselves out of phase with the others. And you either do it by doing 4 stops, or as today we do it by 2 stops. Give Michael some free track and you can see what he does.
It always seems to happen that he comes out and there is free track around. Now, you're not just rolling the dice and guessing there, are you? You know what you're doing.
Well, the numbers have got to stack up, and if we see an opportunity, then we go for it. And I say he is the master of it, and he makes us look good, because we just have to give him an opportunity, and away he goes.
Do you still admire those lightning quick laps that Michael can put in? I mean, Kimi's pulled in and he has thrown in 2 or 3 laps and almost decided the race there.
Well, that was a crucial part of the race for sure, and I was amazed we came out of the pits in front of Kimi, because you know, our predictions were that we would come out just behind Kimi, but we're still in a very strong position because of the 2-stop strategy. So for Michael to come out in front of Kimi was fantastic, and really meant that it was difficult for Kimi to respond to that.
For those people who say, oh no, not that red team again, not that man, Michael Schumacher again, what would you say to them?
Well, it's difficult. There's half the field who are delighted with what he's doing and half who don't like it, and that's the way it is. But it is history in the making. I mean, the guy is exceptional, and try and enjoy it for what it is, because I don't think it'll ever happen again.
Really? You think we're seeing an absolute one-off here, do you?
I think so. So maybe I'm biased.
Biased? Surely not. At the start, though, Mark, it looks as though Michael Schumacher was going to have to work really hard for his victory. Kimi Raikkonen got a flyer.
Kimi Raikkonen was very clean off the line. Rubens Barrichello was a little bit slow, and actually Jenson Button just defended his position well. You see him lead into turn 1. Jenson comes across to the outside and chops Michael. Actually, he was a little bit close there. The rest of the pack follow through, but actually quite clean. The grid was pretty safe all the way through turn 1. Kimi's got a commanding lead there. It's about 3.5 seconds, that gap already, and you'd expect that to be a little bit closer with the Ferraris, but it just didn't come out that way.
He pits a bit early. Michael Schumacher puts in those flying laps and comes. Schumacher's pit stop, a very different complexion on the whole race.
I think Michael Schumacher and Ferrari, they just took it away from us again. We were all expecting a standard kind of race, and again they went for a 2-stop strategy. They pitted early. It really fooled everybody down the pit lane again. We expected Kimi Raikkonen to be on top of things. Kimi comes around turn 1 again, Michael's out in front, and that's the way it stayed for the remainder of the race.
He is absolutely magnificent. He does it time and time again. We mustn't get blasé about it. We're seeing a driving phenomenon at work with Michael Schumacher.
We're seeing a great team, and we're seeing a champion, again, who looks like he's going to be another world champion. I don't think we've seen anything like this for 10, 20, 30 years, and expect it not to happen again in the near future, that's for sure.
Biggest crash of the day, a really worrying moment for Jarno Trulli in that Renault at 170 miles an hour.
Yeah, Jarno looks like he's had a suspension failure as he came through Bridge Corner, one of the fastest corners on the Silverstone circuit. He just gets on the exit. It looks like the left rear of the car collapses and pitches him into the tyre wall. There's a lot of suspension and stuff what flies off the car, but bear in mind that it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to leave just the monocoque of the car there and the driver inside unscathed. But he's clearly okay. He walks away from it there. The doctors have seen to him. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but at the end of it all, a high-speed incident.
you were pleased how quickly help got to him as opposed to what happened with Ralf Schumacher at Indianapolis.
I was a lot more encouraged in the speed, and the marshals there, they supported the driver, made sure he was okay. Yeah, it was a lot better than that Indianapolis accident we saw.
From where I was sitting, it looked a comfortable win this for Michael Schumacher. There was a flicker of hope, though, among the sellout crowd with that restart after the Trulli crash.
Well, we had the safety car situation. It packed everybody up together again, and we felt that Kimi Raikkonen on the Michelin tyres may have done something a little bit more exceptional, because those tyres are good in the first opening laps. But there was a couple of back markers in between Michael Schumacher and Kimi. Kimi a little bit unimpressed with one of them. It just couldn't do anything. I mean, Michael commanded the race, and let's be realistic about the whole thing, Jim. I think if we hadn't have had that safety car, Michael would have won this race by about 12 to 15 seconds.
Let's talk about the Brits. First of all, David Coulthard, a couple of points for David. Will he be happy with that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, David is in the shop window at the moment. He needs to put on a good show. He needs to be in a car for next year. His performance is not up against Kimi, and it's not showing good for him. He needs to do something different than this.
He is absolutely convinced, though, he will be in Formula One next season, Mark.
Well, let's hope so. And he's got the experience, and he's a previous Grand Prix winner. We'd like him there.
This place was buzzing with Jenson Button memorabilia, with the flags, and Jenson wearing the special patriotic helmet. Fourth place for him, I got the impression he was pretty disappointed with that.
And I think he should be like that. I think now he's got to this level, he expects a lot more from his team. What you've seen now is McLaren have stepped up to the plate, and they've taken one of those podium positions that Jenson's been used to getting. And that car is still not up to scratch. He needs something better underneath him so he can go to work.
Yeah, Mark, thank you very much indeed. Well, before the Grand Prix, the Formula One community gathered at the Minardi garage. This for a minute's silence following the death of sporting director John Walton on Friday night. John had a heart attack on Monday, and he passed away peacefully with his family at his bedside at St Thomas's Hospital in London. 47-year-old John Walton was a very popular and respected character. Our sympathies are with his family and friends, and in particular with his partner, our colleague, Louise Goodman. The Formula One world, though, drives on. Next, we go to Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. Complete coverage, qualifying live from 11:30 on the Saturday. The race live, build-up from midday, and highlights at midnight. Michael Schumacher's win here was very well received, and now Germany wait to welcome their sporting hero. Good night to you all.